Welcome back to How Low Can You Go, the golf improvement podcast where we say cheerio to double bogeys and we say hello to pars and birdies. Isn't that right, Chris?
That is right, Dave. I like that one.
That's the best I could come up with today,
no,
Chris.
it's only getting better. I do like it. Carry on.
Yes, so on our last episode, we felt like we were trending in the right direction, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We did. We felt like good times are ahead.
And of course, the season is coming to an end. So I was speaking to one of the guys actually at the club, and he was like, "How did you get on the other day when you were playing?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm playing amazing now, but isn't it funny that you start playing good just as the season ends?"
Yeah, and we had high hopes after our last episode that we would be going out, getting cards in, really grabbing this form and getting the most out of it. But we've not been able to get any cards in whatsoever.
No, I think there was a day as well that we had our sights set on this day, but previously it had rained like the whole day, so the course was like a swamp.
Yeah.
So we were slapping it about,
Yeah.
like mud, sandals going everywhere.
Yeah. And we took an executive decision at the start of the round.
Yeah.
We're not putting a card in here.
No.
That would be a fool's errand. And I think, let's face it, I think a lot of people kind of make those decisions. They go out thinking, maybe I'll put a card in today. And then you check the weather and you go, maybe I won't.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Edinburgh, where we're based, has absolutely chucked it down with rain. And now we're in the midst of some extremely cold weather.
It's -2 now.
Yeah. So,
Dusty.
we're just struggling to get cards in. And I don't know, Chris, maybe we need to put it out there. Like, we've set ourselves a big challenge. We want to get to our target. Chris, what is your handicap right now?
2.9.
2.9.
Yeah.
Right. So hasn't exactly been progress considering you started
at 2.
At 2.
And what's your handicap, Dave?
I'm at 14.8. So
That's progress. That is progress.
Just under one shot progress. Not quite the kind of 7 shots that I was aiming for.
Yeah.
But progress, yes.
Yeah.
I think I said this last time. I actually feel if I do card another sort of low 80s, even maybe, who knows, sub 80, Chris, I think that could be in the post at some point soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Then I think that's going to take my handicap down because I've got a few that are going to come off that are quite high, like sort of 17 ish sort of cards. So I feel like I'm agonizingly close to really seeing some significant progress, but
we need to be real with ourselves. And I don't want to say it, Dave, but are you thinking that we need to almost take a little sabbatical from our mission?
Look, I think I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to put it on the table here right now, Chris.
Okay.
I sort of feel like we want to maybe just take a winter break because we're not going to be able to get cards in Scotland. Pretty much every course just from this time until I'd say like late February at best, maybe early March, they won't let you put cards in. So I reckon it's
time to maybe call it just now, take a break, but we're not going to take a break from the game of golf.
No.
Because this is a golf improvement podcast.
Exactly. And we want to understand what should we be doing over the winter to effectively get better at golf so we are ready whenever we have the green light to get more cards in. We want to know, like, how do you use these winter months, the off season, as best as you possibly can? And if there's people out there listening who have good training methods for winter, we want to hear about it because I think, Chris, there's a lot of us
fair weather golfers. There's a lot of guys I know out there that are fair weather golfers, and when the season starts, I hear them saying, "Oh, I'm just starting the season so poorly," because you've parked your clubs in the attic. Come on.
Yeah.
Get out there, get the woolly hat on,
Yeah.
get yourself out there. But we do want to hear how you approach winter golf. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to armor ourselves up. So like you say, when the season starts, the green light is given to us, we are hitting the ground running.
Exactly. And that is what we're talking about. We want to hit the ground running by the start, like even just before the season commences. So we feel like we're in properly, really good shape. So I think we want to revisit our how low can you go, key components to golf improvement. So that is technique. I think the off season, Chris, is a really good time to really dig into those kind of technical moves that maybe, we've been working with Jonnie, the head pro at Murrayfield, our home course.
Yeah.
He's given us some stuff. And if I'm being honest, Chris, in the middle of the season, in the thick of the battle out there, I haven't had as much time to really dig into those kind of new moves that he's suggesting that would just really take my ball striking up a gear. What about you?
And I do think we have been very transparent here on how low can you go, that we do have jobs, we do have a family, we do have busy, just like yourselves, a busy life, that we are finding it hard to do that.
We're not making excuses though. But
not any excuses, but we did lay that out and we're very transparent at the start of this that to try and get there, we need to really figure out our timings. And like you say, Dave, I think you obviously didn't practice as much of the things that you maybe should have in the middle of the season with Jonnie, like you've just said. But I think I'm the exact same. I've just been out there just playing rounds of golf. And I said I need to hold myself more accountable. But I've just been going out there and playing golf. And this has probably been my worst season of golf to date.
Chris.
It has. But I've found
the podcast has jinxed Chris. I've said this before. This is true.
But like I said, I found my game again. I went to Turnberry and I stood at the range and I tried a bunch of different things and I found my game again. Almost a little bit too late, but it's not too late to keep the engine oiled, as you would say, over the winter.
Well, exactly, completely. And these key components that we refer to regularly on this podcast: technique, skills and shots, mental and performance, golf fitness, and golf strategy. So I think we can, over the next few months during our winter break, we can really, really dig into those and hopefully, Chris, speak to a few special guests who we're going to have on the show to really help us with each of those key components. Just from your perspective, Chris, as a good player who has had a disappointing season, let's face it.
Very disappointing,
If we're talking technique, obviously you've worked a bit with Jonnie. I know he didn't give you a whole lot of technical instruction, but what would you say would be the big thing that you're working on now that you have time to take a pause, get to the range, maybe get to the TrackMan and really kind of work on some like movements that you want to try and ingrain?
So definitely I would say when we had the conversation, Jonnie and I, when I played Gullen with him, he had basically said that I almost want to feel like I'm coming right to left and playing more of a slice at first to get away from duck hooks and the pulls that I was doing. So he's basically telling me to come more right to left and play a slice and then hone that in. So it becomes this like cute fade, essentially. That's what I literally, and I have been working on that already, but I really want to get that perfect almost fade. If that makes sense. But a slice.
I've started to see, even in the small amount of work that you've been doing on that, really getting that power fade back. Like you've been hitting some absolute bombs, Chris. Like, people can have a look at our long drive competition that we had. Like, I know, like,
I had
320.
I had quite a few pals saying on the TrackMan, "Oh, you put this downwind on all that nonsense."
I don't think the TrackMan lies about these things, and I can be very clear here. We did not put any kind of cheat settings.
No, I didn't even know you could do that. Honestly, did not know you could do that. I'll look in the camera and say that. I don't think.
Yeah.
You could actually do that.
And we've also got a few little shorts online of you absolutely bombing it out in the course as well.
Yeah. This is where my game has changed, people, for the better. So I had uploaded at the 4th at Murrayfield. It's got this spectacular view into Edinburgh City.
Maybe the best view of Edinburgh you're ever going to see.
It's amazing.
Like, maybe.
And I had been hitting my driving iron, and he was an ex club pro at Murrayfield. He's now at Nairn. So he had messaged me on social saying it's never a driving iron from that hole. And then literally this morning, he's seen that video, the new one that we uploaded, go have a look. And he was like, knew you should get a driver iron. Because I smashed it and it rolled right down to the green.
Yeah, no, so this is good stuff, Chris. But I think, like, from your perspective, it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of like kind of technical movement kind of changes that our coach Jonnie has been giving you. It's more just, here's the way I want you to feel it and swing it. Really working on that fade shot. He's not saying, oh, turn your hips a bit more, or turn your shoulder like this, or like your wrist flexions, or shallow the club.
No,
there's none of that going on. He's
kept it very, in which Jonnie says he keeps it simple.
Yes.
Which for me is like, I'm not all the analytics and all the kind of numbers that goes for someone that's a low handicapper, where I said maybe I should be looking more into that. That for me, I'm a field golfer. I've said that from the start. I think over analyzing the kind of numbers puts me off a little bit. But so Jonnie is the perfect faucet for me getting better when it comes to my technique.
Yes.
For me, I would say it's more the mental aspect.
Well, I would say that too, Chris, because like some of those performance games that you've been playing on TrackMan and how far you've been hitting that driver, like those say to me, those are the sort of numbers, sort of stats that are absolutely scratch golfer level, if not better.
Well, this is the thing. Ali Thurlow, the PGA Pro at Murrayfield, basically you can go into the test center, which I can't recommend enough. What it does is
it's a lot of fun.
It is really good, and it gets you into your yardages, and you can basically find out how far off it'll like fire up 150 yards. You have to know, obviously, yourself what club that is.
Yeah.
So for you, that's like a 4-iron.
This is great. You know, like
you don't give it
a low handicapper mocking the mid handicapper for distance.
So let's say, for example, you hit your 8-iron, okay, and then it gives you a score, but you try that 10 times. I got a score of 85. And Ali actually said, do you know there is like for the scores, it tells you what your handicap is in correlation to that. And he said that was a 0 to +4 handicap.
Yeah. That is, well, I think this is right, Chris. And, you know, I feel like Jonnie would probably agree with this. Jonnie, the pro who you've been working with, it's really not a case that you need to go and develop loads of new skills or like really work on your technique to get you down there.
No,
I think, as you
we
say,
need to bring in the big guns, someone mentally.
Yeah,
I think we need someone.
And stay tuned on that, because we have lined up a world-class guest speaker, a guest on this show. So stay tuned on that, because we're going to reveal that pretty soon. But we're really, really excited about that.
Let me ask you this, Dave, because obviously coming into the end of the season, when I was away gallivanting, getting married and everything, you talked a lot about Rosapenna.
Yes.
You'd done 2 episodes on how Jonnie was getting you to
prepared.
Yeah, he was getting you to Rosapenna.
Yeah.
But we've not actually really spoke about that. And to me, if you've not spoke about it, tells me something went wrong. So this is the safe space to open up and tell everybody if you had a shocker or not, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, thanks for bringing this up. And yeah, we have had a few of our listeners say, hold on a second, there was all this preparation for links golf, like Rosapenna and Donegal. But we didn't hear any results from Dave. We didn't hear about any of the scoring.
No.
Right. Let me just say, Chris, things did not go according to plan, like is often the way in golf. Big golf trip. I've talked about it on previous episodes. It's a really special golf trip with all of my crew from Belfast back home. I pair up with my Uncle Paul, absolute gent of a man. And we're usually a decent partnership, Chris. We've never troubled like the top two, but we've kind of had reasonable finishes.
You have fun. That's all that matters.
Oh, yeah. So, and I also mentioned that the losers of this whole thing have to put on boiler suits and wear them for the meal that evening. So,
yeah,
Uncle Paul and I missed out on the boiler suits by 1 point.
There must have
on
been
Stableford better ball. Okay, here's what I'll say, Chris. It was very tough out there. It was the weekend of Storm Amy that came across the Atlantic, and like Donegal, you're exposed. You're right up on the North Atlantic, on the west coast of Ireland, the northwest. So, like I say, we normally are a decent pairing. It was one of those where I think we were at the turn and we thought, look, we've got no chance of going in the boiler suits. It's tough conditions here today, but we've scrambled enough points together. We're not going to win this thing, but we've got enough points. And then the back nine just
explosion
was disastrous. Like we were getting no points on quite a few holes. The final four at Rosapenna, when Storm Amy really, really took its toll, like everyone coming into the clubhouse was saying that they barely scrambled any points together in those last four holes. We were really lucky, Chris, not to end up in those boiler suits because the 17th is a par 3. And like I say, the wind was just absolutely nuts. You could barely stand up straight, let alone swing a golf club. I lost a ball off the tee. I think a few of our playing partners did the same. And I was at this point going, look, I'm done with this. I've had enough. And I said to my Uncle Paul, look, here, I might as well just hit a provisional ball. Why not? And then we got down there. I actually hit a really good provisional ball. It was to within about sort of 15 feet of the hole.
Nice.
And Uncle Paul didn't find his ball. So
these would have been absolute screwed.
So if I hadn't done that, and then I two putted, and so took the 5, which got us a solitary point.
That was the life-saving point.
That was the life-saving point because then we would have probably been joint last place, and then it would have gone to a count back. And who knows what would have happened in that count back. So a narrow escape, Chris.
It would have been good to see you in the boiler suit though. After a whole episode on trying not to be in the boiler suit.
This is crazy though. What I will say, Chris, is like the preparation that I did with Jonnie was really, really useful. Particularly that, remember you saw that kind of sawn off 3/4 5-iron off the tee on links courses that he was recommending. Play that low, smooth shot all round when it's high winds. This is going to sound strange, but that actually really worked. I was hitting it well off the tee generally.
But did you lose distance though? Like I know you are if you're doing a 3/4 swing, but say if you're doing this light kind of like low shot and the wind is really, I know it obviously has been said to keep you out of that trouble with the high ball that you play off the tee with your driver. But were you not finding yourself being very far back on a big course like that?
On some, maybe, but I did get the driver out at times, but I sort of was selective with the driver.
Okay.
But when we had this crazy tailwind behind us,
that's when
the 5-iron you were getting, it was just flying down there, just keeping on rolling, you know? So that was the main shot that I worked on with Jonnie for Rosapenna. And it did work, Chris.
Yeah.
Honestly, this sounds hard to believe. Off the tee, I was fine. I was putting myself into good positions.
Okay.
And then I was just screwing it up. Like 4 putting sometimes. Yeah.
And that's sometimes, to be fair, I was going to say, and that wasn't the wind, but sometimes you can be standing on these greens and you literally have to like straddle, do the Cristiano Ronaldo kind of stance.
Oh, completely.
While you're putting.
Honestly, the putter, like the wind shaking the putter so much. Honestly, there were a lot of shots dropped on the greens across the whole field.
But did you learn, because obviously this is a golf improvement podcast, did you learn anything from that, or was it just like, that's a write-off? Like, we had a good time, get the beers in, get the Guinness in.
Yeah.
Was it one of those, or were you like, no, I actually feel like there's been an improvement there, because I would have been way worse before if I hadn't had that kind of lesson from Jonnie?
Yeah, that sounds crazy whenever we finished second last, but I genuinely did take some positives from it.
That's all that matters.
Particularly off the tee, because we know this, we've talked about this on this podcast. This has been my issue, but it is starting to tighten up, Chris. It is.
Yeah.
I'm not losing anywhere near the same number of balls that I used to lose.
Yeah.
And so I am taking positives, but I did narrowly escape the boiler suit. So Uncle Paul and I vowed on the drive home, never again are we going to sail that close to the wind.
Did you have a good weekend? That's what matters.
Of course, it's always an absolutely magical weekend. Rosapenna is a special place. And with all my crew and their dads and whoever else, it's just, it's a really good time. And I would strongly recommend Rosapenna to anyone who wants to go on a links golf trip. Next season, we're now starting to prepare for it. We've talked about you, mental.
Yeah. My main thing's mental. I'll obviously keep the cogs turning, definitely. I don't know if this would be beneficial to other people as well. Say if you've not been for a lesson and you're one of these people like myself, that you go to the range and you try different things until that thing clicks. Have you ever thought about, when you do something like that and something clicks in your game, writing it down? So when you do find yourself going off the grid, like what I did, looking back at your notes and being like, oh, why have I, like, what? Because golf's such a hard game that your swing almost, unless you're a pro, changes like slightly. You're coming over the top. You're like, it sometimes changes. It could be because you've got a tighter back. Yeah. It could just be because you've like tried something different, which you maybe shouldn't have. Do you think you should take notes on if you find that sweet spot in golf?
Well, I think this is something that we really want to work on and look into more over the winter, because everyone these days, all the voices in golf that we respect are talking about journaling.
Yeah.
And another really good way of summarizing this that I heard the other day is success leaves breadcrumbs, I think it was, or like success leaves clues. And so to your point, if you are seeing success with something, some move that you're doing, whatever that may be, maybe something that you've done with your setup, maybe something that you're just thinking about while you're swinging, if you write that down, maybe there's something there that you can then continue to do. You can continue to repeat. Whereas I think a lot of us, myself included, it almost feels like slot machine when you're up there. It's like, it's a lottery. It's like, all right, that just happened to be a good strike then, but then I'm going back and then I have no idea why this next shot doesn't feel good or it doesn't result good.
And I will say, if I'm speaking from a low handicapper perspective, it's knowing, because we've had it before where, say, for example, I hit a drive and I know from the moment it's left the club face, I personally don't think it's good. And I know why I don't think it's good. Whereas like your playing partner like says, oh, great shot. But you know that you've almost not connected with it. When we were doing the long drive competition.
I know, Chris.
There were times, I know it sounds
you hit your first one. Your first one and you hit it and you're, oh, that was shocking.
That was shocking.
And then it went further than my best.
But that's, but that's why we need to stay in our own lanes. Sometimes you try to merge in and I put you back in your lane and slow lane while I'm whizzing past.
I think that's fair. Stay in my own lane. In my defense, Chris,
you've got
my long drive went 260, went just over 260. And Chris,
That is very good.
For the
That's
level I
very,
want to get to,
yeah,
that's more than enough distance
yeah,
for the level I want to get
of
to
course,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
For courses, yeah, for most courses,
Mm,
like around the world, that is perfect. That is
mm,
amazing.
yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound condescending here. That is
Mm,
literally, you're going to get around the course very easy if you
yeah.
can hit that and get on the green too.
Yeah.
I think now you see it in like the tour where players like Rory McIlroy is obliterating
Yeah.
courses because he's hitting it 330,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
340.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then do you know what I mean? On a par
Different
four,
ball
that's
game.
like 360. So then he's
Mm,
chip on wedge. So that's where the game's evolving. So it's one of those where obviously I'm still young.
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're not, but like, I think that's where you can maybe get into the gym a little bit and get the muscles up, get the squats up.
I think that is one plan that I'm going to make over the winter is
Yeah.
to develop some glutes. Well, I think, everybody's saying that's the engine room. That's the engine room of the
Right.
golf swing. That's the power source of the golf swing. So let's
Right.
go, Chris. Let's go. Yeah. I think, let's wrap it here, Chris.
Yeah.
I think for you, it's definitely the mental side of things. I know what I'm working on with my ball striking. I've talked about that at length on the podcast. We've seen some good results from
Yeah.
me on that.
Definitely.
I just need to continue in that vein, really dig even deeper into that over the winter. But we do want to hear from people out there. If you are out there and you are like Chris and I, where you have set yourself targets and then you've hit those targets, we want to hear from you. I want to know, what did you do to practice effectively to get you to where you are? Because that's something we really want to zone in on so that we absolutely make the most of this winter.
Yeah.
So are we saying this, Chris? I hope people will forgive us. We are going to take a winter pause on the handicap challenge. We can't get cards in, people. Like, what can we do? I get it. You might be going out there saying, come on, guys, this is a cop out. You set yourself this target and you've missed this target.
Yeah.
What can we do, Chris? We've got a few months left to run in this challenge, but we can't get cards in.
No.
So I'm proposing this winter break.
Yeah.
And we're going to really work hard over the winter and really figure out how to make the most of the off season.
Of
And
course.
so anyone out there, if you have reached your target, if you've used your winter practice training time really effectively, we want to hear from you, because Chris and I, if we're being honest,
Yeah.
we're still fumbling in the dark a little bit.
We're like a kite dancing in a hurricane. The saying is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't quite know, we haven't quite figured out how to practice absolutely effectively. And we really need to make the most of this off season. So we're going to leave it there, Chris.
Yes.
Winter training starts right here.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time on How Low Can You Go?